Ladies and gentlemen, here's Red Fox.
I noticed you didn't applaud, dear. I like to wish nothing bad on you because I know voodoo. A lot of you know that's why I don't march, because I know voodoo. I can mail mine in. Some of my stories tonight, you've probably heard them before. I'm going to do a couple of things just to, like, warm things around a little bit. I want you to relax, you know, sit up there stiff and everything like you got money or like your house note's paid or, you know how people look. It's satisfied type of thing. Most of you, congratulations, dear. I congratulated you once. It's a baby, isn't it? That's so important. My wife, too. Either that or a tumor. I told you to relax here, didn't I? What'd you expect to find here tonight? Father Divine, Daddy Grace, Billy Graham, Oral Roberts? Yeah. Please laugh friendly, dear. You know, if we ever take over, I can save you. Don't laugh, the Indians lost. And you don't mess around with Indians too much. Custer knows that. People wonder if General Custer was afraid. I can tell you, yes, he was afraid. I did research. If you don't believe he was afraid, go down to Smithsonian Institute and look in his leather pants. Huh? Sit in the back. You're gonna mess my record up with a ooh. Sit in the back. In the hall. Don't hurt me. Ooh, what hurt you about that, dear? This isn't gonna be on the album. We're gonna edit something. I'm just talking now. Something upset you? Well, pull your dress down, please. We'll leave that in. Well, let me see here. Everybody trying to sit and look religious. Well, ain't but two kind, them that do and them that do. If you do, smile. Don't that make you feel better? I don't know what I'm laughing at. Well, you thought I was going to talk about something instead. Oh, man, the hell with that. I'm worried about tomorrow. But some of the great people that have spoken in this world will speak again somewhere. Confucius once said, crowded elevator smell different to me. This is so true. You might as well have fun while you're here because your kids are home listening to my records. No, sometimes you have to knock yourself out. You know, listen, folks, you can laugh because people won't be able to see you on the record. Yeah. This is question period again. We drink another toast. You ready for that? Don't forget now, keep filling your glasses up. No need to leave that liquor here, so I have to take it home. I quit drinking 2 years ago. Went home sober, my own dog bit me. I said, down, Regan, get off me. Yeah, Regan, can't nobody tell you what to name your dog. We'll drink another toast. Could you fix me up a little taste here? Thank you, dear. Thank you very much. Plain ladies. Ginger ale and lime. She's crazy about me. Thinks I'm a Negro. No, a lot of people think that. Where actually, folks, I'm white. This is a freckle. I figure if you're going to have something, have a big one. My wife feels that way. She's got a freckle. You know, freckle sounds like a dirty word when you mention it a couple of times. Say it to yourself, freckle. Oh, welcome. Glad to have you. Beautiful. I hate to interrupt myself, but you got to speak to friends. Never know which side's going to take over. You got to watch those Puerto Ricans. If the Lord's a Puerto Rican, everybody's in trouble. You ever think of that? And I know this, the Lord is not as white as they've been painting him. Because you can't live in Jerusalem 30-some years and don't wear no hat and stay white. It's hot in Jerusalem. The Pope wasn't in Jerusalem but a couple of days and came back looking like Billy Eckstein. He's lucky to be Pope because they won't make another Italian Cardinal Pope, Cardinal Cicola. But they didn't like the sound of Pope Cicola. Might as well laugh out loud. I'm going to tell some Baptist stories in a minute.
That's beautiful. It's sheep blush. That's good.
Y'all married yet or just fooling around? Ain't nothing wrong with fooling around, man. When you're in love, you don't need no license. You need some linen. And if you're really in love, you need some Lavoris. No, you wouldn't want to say, I love you, darling. You know what I mean? With that chopped liver on your breath. You know what I mean? I love it with a big slice of raw onion. I can't stand Listerine. I don't know how people go out and buy Listerine after hearing them advertised on television. You've heard that guy. Listerine kills millions of germs on contact. Now me, I don't want nothing to die in my mouth. I want to talk about housing and what?
Is there any?
No, I must mention because a friend of mine lives out there, and I went out to his place the other day. He was moving, as a matter of fact, because of the poverty program. He was moving over to the west side, to Central. I'm glad you folks know your city, but he was moving. But one thing, he's a nice guy. He went to the pet shop to see if he could get 100,000 cockroaches. Because he wanted to leave the place like he found it. Looking good, darling. You're looking good. Put that where you want to. That'll be good on the record. Just a little quote from one of our geniuses. You don't have to be a member of the KKK, the Ku Klux Klan, to be a wizard under the sheets. But you got to watch fellas. Fellas will change on you. Just from nature itself, you watch them start raising up on their toes. It happens. For 3 years, my cousin was an elf and went to New York, moved to Greenwich Village. Now he's an odd fella. No kidding. He might be up in San Francisco tonight, Pinocchio's. That's for those of you who know Pinocchio's. I know some of them. You've been there, right? Let me see here what I want to say. What's the difference between a rich girl and a poor girl? A rich girl has a canopy over her bed, and a poor girl has a canopy under her bed. You're not leaving, are you, pal? Okay, then. You got to go. I can't mention the men's room. My agent said, no, don't talk about the men's room. But I think that's stupid not to talk about the men's room. Hell, Cap Calloway and Duke Ellington been in the men's room. Paul White Man been to the men's room. Sure. You meet interesting people in the men's room. It's hard to stand shoulder to shoulder with a guy and don't speak. And that poetry on the wall. Some of you here write it. How about you, sir? Just one time have you ever written? Have you ever read? Here I sit, broken-hearted. I forget the rest of it. I want to mention smart children because some of you might have some kids of your own. Might be a few stepfathers here. I was a stepfather once. My fifth wife. She had 6 kids. But I loved her. After the marriage, she changed. Don't you touch my kids when they wrong. Don't you touch them. I say, you mean them 6 that just got up from the table destroying them groceries? Them six is fixing to cover up in a blanket my mother gave me in 1947. Don't touch them. I said, well. Now all y'all go back to Tennessee. Little boy walked in. He was clever. He walked in the candy store. Said, how much your candy bars? The fellow said, 25 cents. No, he said, it's 2 for 25 cents. He said, well, how much is it for one? The guy says, 15 cents. The kid said, well, give me the other one. And he went outside with his buddy. He was sitting on the curb. And the fellow walked up and said, hey, kid. How can I get to thrifty drugstore? How can I get to thrifty drugstore? And the little kid had the candy. He said, I don't know. And the other little fellow was sitting next to him. He said, tell him, Charlie, you know. He said, tell him. And the kid just looked up. He didn't say anything. And so the fellow said, both you kids just stupid. He went on up the street. And so the kid with the candy said, well, what's the matter? You know where thrifty drugstore is. Why didn't you tell the fellow where thrifty drugstore was? He said, and let him smack me across my dick. Damn, I'm not going to tell him. No. I love kids. Here's a guy. And I want to tell you to watch your drinking when you leave here. Drinking can really do something with your mind, bend you around a little bit. There was a guy down here on Adams Boulevard last night chasing a 5 truck. 4 blocks he chasing 5 truck. And he fell out exhausted up there in front of the hotel. And people around him said, all right, I'll give a damn. Go ahead and run off. Keep your damn peanut. And my cousin was wounded. That's why I feel pretty bad tonight. My cousin was wounded in Vietnam. He was sitting outside the barracks, smoking some of that bad marijuana. And a roach exploded, and a seed knocked his eye out. My wife think I'm some sort of fool, too. I guess everybody has to explain. But I came home one night, there was a guy in my clothes. I asked my old lady, I said, listen, who is this here? She said, well, honey, don't get excited now. I just thought somebody was going to steal your clothes, so I hired him to guard them. You know, I believed her. She's so ugly, ain't no need of leaving. I hate to just, that's why I tell all my friends around the country, marry an ugly woman, young fella, young bachelor men, take my advice. Marry an ugly woman. Then when she leaves you, you'll be happy. Because when a pretty girl leaves you, man, that breaks your heart. It's hard to sleep. I can sleep now. I laid down comfortable last night and slept. I dreamed I had died, and the heat woke me up. I don't care what you think of me. You're not the brightest group I've ever been in. How are you, dear? You having any fun? Might as well laugh, I'm one of our leaders. Malcolm Q. It's 4 of us, 1Q, 2Q, 3Q, and me. Say, listen, you sure look like the lieutenant that saved my life overseas. Got out the way when I was backing up. Saved his life, too, because I was moving. Good evening, you're almost in time to miss me. Come in this late, I hope your dog gets killed. He represents me to people, you know what I mean? Out closing a big deal for me in Long Beach. Weekends between Long Beach and Seattle. There was a very, very attractive school teacher. She had a little 13-year-old cat in her room. And she wondered why his work had fallen off. So she called him over and said, "What's the matter with you, Jimmy?" He said, "Your work's falling off." He said, "Well, I'm going to tell you, teacher, I'm in love." She said, "In love? In love with who?" He said, "I'm in love with you." She said, "Oh, Jimmy, that's ridiculous." He said, "It's really silly." He said, "I know it's silly, but it's true. I would like to have children. I'd like to have a child, as a matter of fact." He said, "But you have to be so careful." He said, "Well, I'll be careful." Well, you got to watch kids that are young like that. They're not dumb like you were when you were a kid. No, kids have television. Today, when I was a kid, I had to look at the radio. Batman. No, if you ever go down on Los Angeles Street, you'll see a cat down there shining shoes between two small buildings, and he was whipping them shoes. And this cat jumped off the stand, threw this cat a half and split. And then while he was putting his polish and stuff back, a lady got up on the shoe shine stand, and when he raised up with his polish, what do you say, brother-in-law? Just show you I'm a professional. Look at me, look, half the crowd left. Does that bother me? Hell, I've worked to this many. I worked just as hard for this many as I'd worked for 10,000. I've been known to entertain one. See, at my age, you can't do too many push-ups. But I can still chin. And that's important. My wife and I have a great relationship. You know, our son, we gave him a chemistry set for Christmas. And our son took that chemistry set. I said, "Gene, what has that boy got there?" He got a big jar of stuff he had made up. You could put it on a prune and smooth that prune out with just take all the wrinkles out of it. I said, "Well, hell, I'll take some of that and use it there and put some on my old lady's face." So I said, "Let me have some of that, boy." And I told my old lady about it, and she put it on her face, but it didn't work. But I'm telling you, we got the smoothest prunes where we live. If you want your prunes smoothed out, no, sometimes you like to get your prunes smoothed out. They're so young, he blushes and everything. Y'all will grow up. Why don't y'all get drunk tonight and go somewhere and blame it on whiskey? On me? Don't blame it on me. I educated young America. No kidding. 10 years ago, when the first album came out, kids, it's important to let your kids sneak and play these records because things that they won't ask you, they hear on the record. Say, let me tell you about happiness is so important in marriage. It was a young couple many, many years ago, before the automobile, and they got married, and they were going down this country road in one of those buggies, horse and buggy, and the horse stumbled. So the fellow was sitting there, he said, "That's one." And he went a little further, about a half a mile, and the horse stumbled again. He said, "That's two." He went about another half a mile, and the horse stumbled again. He said, he got out of his buggy and took his rifle and shot that horse right through the head. And his wife started, what you kill that horse for? We stuck out here in the woods, man. What the hell's wrong with you? Why you shoot that horse and knowing that we ain't got but one horse? I don't understand what kind of man you..." He said, "That's one. They've been together 50 years. I guess it's just one of those clean groups. I like your goatee there, sir. Sort of like an equalizer. Yes, sir. Smokey the Bear said it. You got to fight fire with fire. I'll take a part of the day watching them hose a friend of mine off. His insurance was below $300. Get your insurance up. That's no good, a $300 policy. The undertaker gets $2.95 of it. They buried my friend so shallow a puppy could dig him up. So, you know, they had a few vice raids out here in California not too long ago here in Los Angeles. And, pardon me, anyone have any tweezers? They had this vice raid and they picked up quite a few of the girls, and 3 of them went before the judge, and they was a little bit of drug because they had been busted. The judge quieted them all down. They were there arguing about what was going to happen to them. The first girl, she looked up at the judge and said, "What's your business?" She said, "Well, Judge, I'm a dressmaker, and these awful policemen," he said, 30 days. Second girl walked up. He said, "What's your business?" She said, "Honor, I'm a dressmaker with a family to support and a crippled mother and a dying baby and 30 days. That's what the judge said to her, 30 days. He said, "What's your business?" to the third girl. She said, "Well, Judge, I'm a prostitute." Judge said, "Well, how's business?" She said, "Judge, with all these dressmakers out here, I can't get a quarter." Any dressmakers in the audience? Any? I just asked, Al. You never know. I mean, if you never ask, that's why a lot of people, you know what I mean, don't know. Thank you, dear. Could you just laugh out freely? That's right. Don't wait for nobody else. People are not going to die for you. You ever been to a funeral and people be there crying, "Oh, oh, Lord, don't take him, take me." If the Lord would open up that church ceiling and say, "Ooh, it's wild."
All right, come on.
Wait a minute, baby. Wait a minute.